What's up, y'all? It's your girl from Complex Simplicity. I hope you're having a good Sunday. I had a thought that I wanted to share. As I was getting ready to leave the house briefly to run an errand, this thought came to mind, and I normally like to do my thought-provoking moments on or via audio recording so that you're not distracted by the background or by me, my gestures, what I have on. I just want you to kind of focus on what I'm saying and hear the power in what I'm saying. But today I was like, what the hey? We can have conversation. Let me lower. I'm busy listening to stuff in the background. Okay. So I guess I was in more of a contemplative assessment stage this weekend or the past few weeks because, my 2-year anniversary is technically tomorrow. And, of course, you kind of just think back and look back and see where you've come. And, my husband and I, we was kind of celebrating yesterday and we'll finish tomorrow, where it was like, wow, 2 years, it flew by. Like, it's crazy, and my husband was like, babe, we make a great team. And I'm like, you're right, love, we make a great team. And I think that that's really half the battle when it comes to marriage, what I've been learning, in my 2 years of being married, that you definitely have to be a great team. You have to work together and you both have to complement each other. Like I always say, what I'm lacking, he brings to the table. What he's lacking, I'm bringing to the table. And the thought that came to my mind as I was getting ready today was, we gotta want more for ourselves. Now, I mean this in two different ways. Want more, of course, as far as materialistic things. I think that's okay as long as we don't get carried away. But also wanting more as far as our emotional health, our mental health, our spiritual health. Those things are important as well. I'm finding myself seeing a lot that it's easy for us to stick and stay in the same zone and in the same place that's really not that beneficial for us. And then it's like some of us wonder why we haven't been blessed with a spouse, or at least someone to date and court to get to that point of marriedville, sorry. Why some of us, when it comes to certain situations, we may feel stuck as far as where we're living. We haven't really been able to get that boost of true independency and be out on our own and fully support ourselves. Or even emotionally, why is it that I'm finding myself in the same kind of relationships? I'm dealing with men or women who are really not treating me well. Why am I continuing to make certain decisions that's not the most wisest choice for my life and my children's lives? All those kind of things. And we're human, so by no means am I coming across in like a shame on you, shady type of way. It's just, I think sometimes these are the difficult conversations we need to have with ourselves first. And then it's also good for us to have with one another. I feel like it's human, like us humans, we can talk about everything under the sun. We can talk about everybody else and everybody else's business. But when it comes to really assessing ourselves and certain things we have to figure out within ourselves, it's a hard thing, So I'm always big on having those kind of thought-provoking moments and conversations with yourself, with your spouse, with your friends, like, your family. It's fine. I think it's okay. And so that thought of we gotta want more, I'm the type of person where I like to see growth. When I look back 2 years ago, when I was preparing to get married, 2 years ago tonight was the night that we were having our rehearsal dinner. And it was like, wow, this is about to go down, And then when I look to where I fast forward to see where we are now, you couldn't have told me that a lot of the things my husband and I have accomplished, would have happened this fast. You know what I'm saying? And I mean materialistically, and I also mean, just with him and our personal growth, with our individual growth, as well as our growth together as a married couple. And I think that it's okay to want more in both aspects. I know right before I was getting married, and then once I got married, I think I shared this with you before, everybody was on me like, when are you going to have a baby? And you should start having a baby. And are you guys going to try having a baby? And everything was baby, 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 right? And I'm like, hold on, slow your horses. When it's time for us to have a child, we will. But our decision for us is that we're going to enjoy the first couple of years of our marriage, and we are going to try to build together so that when it is time for us to have a child, all the essentials are in place, right? Enough, where we live was a big thing. You know what I'm saying? We were in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I get it. It happens. I was living in the 1-bedroom apartment on my own. We got married. My husband moved in, but we knew that that was not even enough space for the two of us to coexist, right? And so we started planning and figuring out what our next move was going to be. So for us, we did have a level of a blueprint, that we agreed to before we were going to start working on having children. And I explain this to people, I feel like at least 3 or 4 times a week, and like I always say, different strokes for different folks. What works for you in your marriage, you in your relationship, what works for us could be 2 different things. That's fine. It's not my style to tell someone or suggest to someone what they need to do as far as like huge life moments. You know what I'm saying? Having children and bringing children into this world is a serious deal. It's a serious thing. And like I always say, I had an amazing childhood. I want to be able to give that and more to my child or children. You know what I'm saying? I want them to be able to grow up in a decent neighborhood, a good neighborhood, go to good schools. I want them to have space within our home. I don't want it to be where we're all living on top of each other. That's just what we wanted, and I'm glad that we stuck to our own blueprint. Like I always say, when everybody's going right, everybody's over here, we just got married, we having babies, they over there, that's fine, that's great. I celebrate with you, I'm happy for you. But me, I'm probably going to be over here left doing my own thing because I already have a plan. My husband and I already had a plan and a blueprint for what we wanted to follow for our lives and our marriage. And I think that we're doing okay, folks. You know what I'm saying? I think whatever decisions we've made for ourselves have definitely worked out in our favor, and it's no shade to anybody else. But that just reaffirms for me, you got to stick with your gut. You got to know what you want. And it's okay to want more for yourselves. I don't care what everybody else is doing. If that's not what Chanel wants to do, Chanel ain't doing it. I have my own mind. You know what I'm saying? And when I look and I see those around me, people I'm close to, people just in life in general, what I assess, it seems like it's natural for us as humans to all want to do what each other is doing. No, I'm cool doing over here what I feel like is best for me and my family. You know what I'm saying? And even if no one else understands it, that's cool. But just know, I get it. My husband gets it. That man upstairs knows it. We good. And so I'm always big into growth. I'm glad to say 2 years ago, we were doing well. We were ready to get married. 2 years later, we're doing even better. I would like to think and pray 2 years later, we'll be doing even better. And it's like I said, not just materialistic things and money and all the toys and things we can have, cars, homes, all that. I'm also saying mentally, emotionally, knowing who you are, loving who you are, all of those things. It's okay to want more in that. It's very important to want more in that area, to be honest with you. Sometimes I'm like, God, why me? A lot of my people around me, my friends, they're still trying to, they want to be married, aspiring to be married, looking for love. Some may not be in the greatest of situations. They're trying to get out of those situations to do better for themselves in life. And I'm like, Lord, why me? And, why not them? I know, and I'm friends with some amazing people. Why was this path kind of my path, and I think it all just goes back to the choices we make in our lives. I've always said this. I've written about it in the website, and I've did audio recordings about it. The choices we make, I think, can really be huge determining factors in how our lives pan out in adulthood. And I'm so thankful to my mom and my dad. My dad, like I always say, he showed me my worth. He told me my worth, how a man should treat me, how a man should treat a woman. You know what I'm saying? My mom showed me certain things that I need to know as a woman within myself, my own confidence, my self-esteem. Chanel, don't you rush to have any babies. Enjoy your marriage. Like, I'm glad my mom had all those kinds of wisdom and teachings that she imparted on me, because all this stuff helped to mold me to be the woman that I am today between my dad and my mom. And I think that's why I was able to attract the kind of man that I did attract, and vice versa. This is why my self-esteem, like I always said, is like in a healthy place, why I love myself. I know my worth. I know my worth in my marriage. I know my worth at my job. I know my worth within my friendships, and that's why, I am the way that I am. You know what I'm saying? And I draw the line for people really quickly because I know my worth. And I'm not going to let nobody try to tell me otherwise or treat me otherwise. You know what I'm saying? And I have to, I owe that to God. I owe that to my parents. You know what I'm saying? My husband as well continues to show me my worth as a wife and how much of an asset I am in this situation, in our marriage. These things are important, but you have to believe it and know it within yourself as well, and so I think that's why my life is where it is. I think I know a lot of people in my life, even some of my friends are like, oh, things always work out for Chanel. Everything always seems to be easy for Chanel. Okay, I get how you could feel that way. But I also think it's also because of the choices that I've made in my life. While everybody was choosing over here to go A, Chanel might have been over here choosing B. And even if I was the only one choosing B, if I felt that that's where I needed to be and the choice I needed to make, that's what I did. And I found in my gut and just what I know in life and even what God has shown me is that was what I needed to choose. Those are the things that helped me to be able to be where I am today. Not that I'm fully where I need to be. There's still a lot of growing that I have to do too. A lot of figuring out when it comes to my career, as I always say. But for the most part, I think that with huge life choices, I see the bigger picture and I think things through. I try not to live haphazardly and just find myself in crazy situations that could affect my life in a negative way. And I want to be able to think about this wisely, have a plan, have a blueprint. Okay, what's in your best interest, Chanel? Is this going to be good for you in the grander scheme of things? Or is this something that's going to be more detrimental to you? You know what I'm saying? I try to think about all those things. I'm not perfect by any means. I make mistakes all the time, but I know when it comes to the choices we make, I definitely try to choose wisely and carefully and cautiously because I do not want to find myself sitting in a seat of misery because of poor choices I've made. And I always say and give credit to my parents because they've always instilled that in my brother and I. The choices you make, you have to answer to. God sometimes will allow you to feel the consequences. A lot of times he'll allow you to feel the consequences of our poor choices, you know what I'm saying, to teach us lessons. But these are things we shouldn't have to go through. It makes our lives harder in the end. Sometimes it affects the lives of our children if we have kids, the people around us, and so that's why I say it's okay to want more for yourself as far as even thinking about the choices you make in your lives and how this can affect you 10 years from now. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, always going to have growth. That's why if you find, the people that I know that I'm veering over here, well, Chanel seems kind of distant. Why is she not in the mix like that? It's because I know where I'm trying to go. And I want to be around people and surround myself with people who are about things and who know where they're trying to go and who are living healthy lives, emotionally especially, and who want more for themselves, who love themselves. If you don't love you, you can't be a good friend to me like that. You will never be able to be fully loyal and a good friend to me, I feel, if you can't even be loyal and a good friend to you. You know what I'm saying? And so at this stage in my life, I'm cool with, even if I have to be alone over here, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Because I want more for myself. I want more. And so I'm hoping that this was encouraging to anyone out there. It's okay to want more for yourself. Like I said, materialistically, I just say let's try not to get too caught up with the materialistic things, but it's okay. Sometimes people make us feel wrong or feel like it's not okay to want more for yourself. If you want to buy a house or if you want to buy a car or if you want a high-paying job, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I just say don't let those things validate who you feel you are and how you feel about yourself, but more importantly, I think it's okay to want more for yourself emotionally. You know what I'm saying? And to grow within yourself emotionally. I can't say it too many times. I feel like it never gets old. If you don't have a good grasp on who you are and where you're trying to go, you're going to have a hard time in any kind of relationship or marriage. You have to know who you are. You have to identify and know what your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to be willing to be compromise, to not be selfish. to know how to be a team player in a situation. Like, it's a lot of skills and things that are needed. And I if you find that it's like, dag, I still haven't like been blessed with who I'm supposed to be with, maybe that's a sign that there's still certain things within yourself that you have to work on. You know, there were plenty of times where I thought, because I dated my husband for a long time, plenty of times I just knew I was ready to be a wife and I really wasn't. And God was like, pump your brakes, homie. You ain't ready to be nobody's wife. You still have work to do within yourself. And so I've shared this with some of my single girlfriends, that sometimes when we find, like, when is it going to happen? Everybody else is getting married. Everybody else is in serious relationships. Why not me? It could be that there's certain things you still have to work on within you to strengthen, because you're going to have a hard time in a marriage depending on whatever it is that needs to be worked on. And I think that's okay. Don't feel badly about that. That's okay. We all have things within ourselves we have to work on. Listen, like I said, when I thought I was ready to be a wife, I really, 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 really wasn't. And I'm glad that, you know, I wasn't the type that was just like desperate to want to be married to the point where I would just do anything and be with anyone. You know, I started to see, no, Chanel, you're not as ready as you think you are. And there are things you have to work on within yourself. There are things you have to work on with your finances. There are things you have to work on, you know, all types of things. You know what I'm saying? It happens. It's okay. I think the sooner you realize it and start getting to work, the better. So yeah, you know, hopefully that'll be helpful and encouraging to someone. It's okay to want more for ourselves, folks, and to not always want to stay in the box, to not always want to do what everybody else is doing in the timeline and time frame that they're doing it, you know, to not want to hold yourself back from growing because you want to still stick with this crew over here. Like, no. Do what you got to do to better yourself. You know what I'm saying? We were born in this world alone. We don't have to be tied to the hip with somebody every step of the way. And I'm more so talking about with friends. Even in a marriage, you can't be conjoined with your spouse every second, every minute of the day. You still have to have enough going on in your own life as well. You know, so I hope this was enlightening, encouraging, empowering. Continue to head to the website, complexsimplicity.weebly.com. Thank you.